All right, everyone, we should be live here. Let's make sure that's actually the case. I love it when people say that I'm late. You got to realize I have to set this up on 3 different platforms before I actually go live. I use StreamYard, actually, so it takes a little time. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it depends. De Liverpool, Britain, Amsterdam says hi. Hello. I'm on the other side of the country at the moment. A little bit more quiet than Amsterdam, especially on Sunday, Easter Sunday. We'll be talking about that, by the way. Got to lecture some of the hyper-religious people that don't understand their own scriptures, but no offense. Christianity is perfectly fine. I grew out of the disliking Christianity thing. Still don't like churches, but we'll see what we can do here. Oh, okay. Yeah. Why is my volume on? Derp. Should probably turn that off. Pay attention to the chat. Yes, indeed. This is my daughter's first Easter. Has a little Easter card, actually, which is very, very cute. Just give me a moment here to calibrate things. No, that's not what I want. Boomer tech. Okay, boomer. And see the I'm not actually a boomer, believe it or not. I didn't get vampirized and become immortal, and I'm actually 100 years old. At this point, I think boomers are headed up towards that. Just look at Joe Biden. Technically, I think that he's greatest generation, but I think he's proven otherwise. So yes, we will be doing super chat Q&A mainly. If I get dad brain or something like that, just don't fault me too much. But we will be talking about Easter a little bit. Mainly, this is super chat gear. This is the Sunday show. I didn't do a Saturday show. I didn't have the time. I also didn't have the energy. I actually got a reasonably good night's sleep, so we'll be doing that. I wanted to address something, though, and that's the Easter conundrum that some people that are religious Christians have. Right now, there's the Les Tips Fedora meme going around with regards to me mentioning that it is a pagan holiday. If you want a Christian holiday that's based on at least an opinion about when the resurrection of Jesus happened, you should convert to the Orthodoxy, because the holiday you're celebrating today, number one, in the pragmatic sense, cooking the nice cabbage, the boiled dinner or whatever, and number two, the date that it's on, it is a literal movable feast. It is a pagan holiday. It's not a Christian holiday, unless you think that Jesus was reborn on different days every year. I'm sad to say, but you're technically committing heresy if you really religiously believe in Jesus and in Christendom. The problem is that you're technically ignoring the tenets of your own religion. A crafty Huragok. Happy insert Christian holiday. Oh, it's definitely a Christian holiday in the sense, and I'm not debating that. Protestants especially, they celebrate Easter, and they give it the importance of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's fine. The problem is it's on a different date every year. Well, I don't think that he was resurrected on different days each year for the purposes of a lunar festival. That was essentially the Romanists, the Roman Catholic Church, adopting a pagan holiday. You are celebrating a pagan holiday. I love the cope posting of some people. Well, I realize it's pagan, but we gave them a better reason to worship. What better reason than fertility? This is the time of year to mix it up and have some babies. As long as you look at basic biology, that would be a really good reason to celebrate. You should go and have some good food and then fuck. That's the basic premise of it. That's the pagan premise. It was a way to create more human beings. I think that that's a positive thing. Just created one of our own, of course, a week ago. If you want to make it Christian, it should be a fixed day, though. It shouldn't be the lunar holiday, because it makes no sense. Ryan McDonald, USA. There are no primary sources on Ostara, nor Ulster. Yeah, well, that doesn't matter. We know that the pagans celebrated a lunar holiday. It has to do with the lunar phases. It's a fertility holiday. Specifically, this is the perfect time to have your own baby. Your own miniature clanker. The guy who makes Styx tool jokes. Now that you are a father, you must call yourself Father Styx. Father Styx, please absolve me of my sins. I feel like Odin, officially old. Mr. Wonderful, congrats on the little one. What is the chance if Elon gets control of Twitter, the Dems change Section 230 and make it useless to him? Possible. You never know what shenanigans they'll get up to, but they don't have the votes right now to do much. They're going to have less votes come the midterms. I analyzed today, my main video was on the concept of the Elon Musk Twitter takeover, in part. And here, just a second, actually. What the hell is going on over here? Just give me a moment. We've got to troubleshoot. Yeah. Anyway, my main video today was about MSNBC actually declaring the Democrats to be doomed in the midterms. And their proposition, and AOC has echoed this, was the concept that they should ram through their agenda. Of course, I disagree. I think that if you're pragmatic, you should realize your agenda is the reason you're going to lose the midterms, and you should throttle back, because otherwise you ram it through. What happens in 2024? It's a terrible idea. And Elon Musk and Twitter is actually a microcosmic part of this. Tech censorship is at least a minor issue on the table for a lot of people. I said half a decade ago that tech censorship was the most major issue that we were dealing with and would deal with for some time to come. I think, by the way, that prediction has come true. The Democrats want to keep doing the Klobuchar thing. You have to stop disinfo. In other words, you have to create disinfo. You have to keep censoring things. If not, democracy will fail. If we don't limit what people can read, what people can say, the expressions they can make, the things, the opinions that they can have, all of a sudden, democracy will die. What's the use of defending democracy if it's not going to be an actual democracy? It's going to be a bunch of morons that are limited by a bunch of billionaires and the government in what they can hear. There is no point to it. That's not a democracy worth defending. I think give people a civic structure worth defending, and they'll generally do it themselves. You don't need much government effort on their behalf. Eric writes, morning, Styx. On my last break at work, been a while since I've had the opportunity to catch you for a Q&A stream. Regarding your child, do you plan to guide her gently, select a particular faith, or let her choose? She will be brought up learning about many comparative religions. So I want my daughter to understand many religions, spiritual paths, the occult, etc. But I don't believe in indoctrinating children. I believe give them the knowledge, the understanding of critical thinking, and they'll make their decisions for themselves. Whether or not you agree with those decisions is irrelevant, in my opinion. Everyone has their own path to tread. The Grizzly, what do you think of the Disney Florida thing? Haven't seen you talk about it, but it seems to really be exploding in the news cycle. I've avoided that issue because I don't care what Disney does. I don't care what Disney World, Disneyland, etc. do. Disney itself, as a creative company, they destroyed Star Wars. They're destroying every other franchise that they can gobble up, just like Amazon has destroyed Lord of the Rings, apparently. Who cares? You know, this happens all the time. This isn't the first rodeo that we've been through. And their wokeness is rankling a lot of people. People are beginning to understand Disney's not Mickey Mouse. Disney is a multi-billion-dollar multinational company. Crimson the Original. Happy Easter and welcome to fatherhood. Officially, it's the best. Yes, except for the sleep component. However, I am a chronic insomniac. I'm somewhat resistant to waking up at 3 a.m. and caring about it because I'd probably do it anyway. Michael LaRusso. Does Jill change Joe's diaper? No, I think the Secret Service has to do that. I can't imagine that she has is still involved in that at this point. It's like, oh, shit. Well, we got maids and other staff and stuff. They can handle that shit. The Human Centipede. Just want to say congrats on the baby. Fun drinking game for this stream. Take a shot every time someone congratulates you on the baby. Lol. I officially disavow that because they die. I don't want my audience to die. I'm not MSNBC. Emma Song. I've got the same issue with U.S. Thanksgiving being a movable holiday. Why not look back at Pilgrim Records and pick something that's close enough? Is Thanksgiving on a different day each year? I thought it was, the last day of November or something like that. Also, if you look back through the records, it's not necessary that they're true. That is the problem with Easter as well. There's no record. Someone will say, well, there's no official records or firsthand material with regards to Ostara. Well, you don't have any technical firsthand guide to the day on which Jesus supposedly resurrected either, so you have the same problem. Invisibot 6. Where is everything and where has it been? In all places and all ways, I believe would be the correct answer. The Styxhexen baby. I came out of the womb with a leather jacket on. Yeah, she does not yet have a leather jacket. You know, when it's a small infant and stuff like that. You don't want to cook them. Put them out in the sun on a leather jacket. It'd be a little bit of a problem. President-elect Pressure 609 sent $20. No comment. Thank you. Source, did you read A Movable Feast? I like reading Hemingway, but that memoir was a task to read. By the end, you understood his depression better. Yeah, Hemingway, he was an eccentric. There's someone, I don't think it's you, that keeps commenting that Hemingway was actually a communist asset. By the way, we're getting up towards 3 Biden loser units, and it's Easter Sunday, so, you know, imagine Biden makes an Easter address. Probably nobody would watch it. I know I wouldn't. Actually, let me refresh Rumble really quickly, because then it should show me. Yeah, there's 100 people already watching on Rumble as well. So technically, we're at 3 Biden loser units. Josh, why are Dems blue and Republicans red? Propaganda? I'm actually not sure. I think those colors were self-chosen, actually. Nick Santini, good morning, Styx. Give Sleazy P Martini a friendly reminder on getting on your midterm stream. Congrats on your baby girl. Clank on. Yes, I would love to have Sleazy P Martini on the midterm stream. That would be great. Can you imagine the win? There are some other people that I've got in mind. Razor Fist would be an obvious one as well. A few others. Lionel, I'd like to get aboard, but I think he does his own thing, actually. He wasn't on the last stream because I had offered it to him, but he had his own material to do. Blaster Clone, congrats on the baby. Thank you very much. Fire down below. How do you think Elon's plan B is going to pan out? Maybe the tender offer to shareholders. Yes, he can just gobble up shareholders' stocks. He's got the money. He's already offered a considerably higher than evaluated sum. So he can negotiate with other major shareholders, maybe not the Chinese magnates and Saudi princes causing more censorship on the site, but he can go one-on-one with all of the smaller shareholders, and bit by bit, he can gobble things up. And that's not to say that necessarily Twitter won't eventually be forced to accept the offer because of pressure from people as well. Troublesome Boner, congratulations, Styx. Remember that cats are prone to laying on infants and smothering them. That is a wives' tale. That is not actually true. They are prone to staring at the infant for an extended period of time, though. Madmanon21 on Twitch says, he will sell all his shares, force Twitter shares to crash, then buy it a lot cheaper. That would be legally dubious, to crash the stock and then reinvest. That would begin to look, Congress would look into him. I don't think that that's his plan B. I think his plan B is gobbling up more and more shares. Of course, he can still purchase some more, I think up to 15 point something percent, because he's not on the board. He can still purchase those outright. Then he can simply go and gobble up more and more. And it'll be hard for Twitter to stop him. They'd have to sell out to another person. I love all this talk about the poison pill. Like he gives a shit. He's not in this for the short-term gain. He wants to acquire Twitter. And that was always his goal. Jellu Boy says, I deleted my Twitter. Yeah, I stopped using it for a while too in retaliation for the fact that they bounced Trump off the site. If Elon Musk acquires Twitter, that may change. And I realize that Elon Musk is not anyone's savior. He's not a free speech warrior. He's not a libertarian. But he's better than the other tech magnates. That is true. He has, and part of it is just branding. Imagine you're the only mainline tech site with a lot of positive mainstream coverage. You take it over and you convert it into the one mainline site in which content creators like myself can actually speak freely and be uninhibited. It would soar. the site would get more popular. It would have more users. It would be worth more money. Outas85, how impactful would a Le Pen will actually be? Well, Le Pen is still at the underdog. Of course, there are only a few polls that actually show a very close matchup with Macron. I think that she should be the one that French people vote for. If I were French, I would vote for Le Pen. And the idea that she's far right is insane because, of course, economically speaking, she leans left, actually. And in fact, arguably, a little bit more than Macron. I'm not a fan of that. But if you want to have a country in which the government actually attempts to represent the interests of the people at the basic level, I would vote for Le Pen. So, yeah. As far as how meaningful it would be, Le Pen would face the Trump treatment. She would be blockaded by the French legislature from day one. They would say, no, we're not willing to work with her. And this sets the same Weimar-style stage that we've seen throughout history, which is very, very dangerous. I would say the alternative is even more dangerous, which is maintaining a status quo that people understand does not work, have clearly rejected in large part, especially the youth. The younger voters in France are the ones that are mainly supporting Le Pen. The older voters support Macron. It's sort of like in the United States, the elderly people like Biden. He's still got nearly 50% support among the elderly voting bloc. Young people have flocked aboard at record levels. It doesn't mean that they support populism or libertarianism or the alt-right or something, but they don't support the status quo because it doesn't work for them. This is the way the Weimar Republic died. Silver Kestrel, thoughts on Trump endorsing Mehmet Oz? He can endorse who he wants. I value the endorsement, but it's sort of like when Donald Trump brought Pence aboard. I opposed it. I thought it was a terrible idea. Briefly got off the Trump train, actually, at that time. And the same would be true here. I think it's a bad endorsement. I think he's hoping to control Oz, should he win, which is maybe not the most likely thing in the world. Fire down below. Do you think the Philadelphia experiment was real? I don't know. Neither does anyone else, and we never will, probably. Yvette Moore. If men and women are the same, why don't we pay for sex? Well, some women do, actually. There's like documentaries about call dudes and their services. I think street prostitution among straight men is less common, but yes, there are women who actually do that. I don't understand the premise, but it's the world's oldest profession, other than farming, maybe. The Styxhexen baby, am I an American citizen? I'm confused. Yes, our child is a dual citizen the second that they're registered, because one of their parents happens to be American. Jocko Slapbass, is depopulation happening? They're trying to do the carrot before the stick thing and simply encourage people to have less babies, which I think you should have more. In fact, because it's Easter, everyone go out and have unprotected sex, have a child. Tell Klaus Schwab to fuck off. I want 1,000 new clankers to be conceived tonight. Make it so. Alchemist XP on Twitch. Male gigolos are popular in Japan. Are they Japanese, or is it like, they import dudes that are like horny or something like that? Comic Toby 420, thoughts about not showering every day, something about essential oils. Well, I have relatively oily skin, which is why I don't really have wrinkles. I guess that's a blessing in disguise. I don't use essential oils, but I tend not to shower every day. I think it's bad for your skin, bad for your hair. Of course, your skin can take care of itself. Millions of years of evolution didn't have people showering, except maybe going out in the rain. They rolled around in dirt and shit to get clean. And then the dirt would dry and you just sort of wipe it off. Not necessarily the greatest feeling thing, although warm dirt, you can make a little bit of a case for it, I guess. Josh one day sent $2 Canadian dollars without a comment. Thank you. Alexander McQueen. Did you hear that Sri Lanka just went bankrupt? Not a surprise. Really. Vaguely straddling the west-east line. K98 Killer, what are your thoughts on the headless rite from the Greek magical papyri and its Osiris imagery's connection to the mystery religions? The headless rite I have not actually heard of, so I don't have a thought. It's funny. I was talking to fucking I can't remember his name there. Jonathan Pajot, sorry. And he's into the mystic side of Christianity, Orthodox actually. Made the point that the Christianity had absorbed the mystic rites from paganism, and that this is why you should practice those rites, because they're mystic in nature. There's enough material to effectively reverse engineer between that and between the primary sources we have, the actual authentic pagan rites, at least in large part. I'd prefer to do that myself. Maxwell Washules. Have you ever read Hillbilly Elegy by J.D. Vance? Trump recently endorsed him in Ohio, and I think it was a good choice. Highly recommend you read it if you haven't. Also, congrats on the daughter. Well, thank you for the congrats. No, I have not read that, actually. If Trump endorsed him, that tips me in favor of supporting someone if Trump does. There are exceptions. Trump, of course, is still friends with Mike Lindell. I think that he's a complete distraction. I think, if anything, I think maybe he's being paid by liberals to do the QAnon bullshit still. Mr. Wonderful, the calls for Ron DeSantis as Trump's running mate are absurd. Imagine putting such an outstanding talent in such a useless position as VP. You could do worse, but I do agree with you. I think DeSantis would not be a good idea. I'd rather Rand Paul. Rand Paul would make an excellent president. He's got the right age, the right temperament. He was one of the first people, actually, to endorse Trump in the primaries then. I would advise Trump to go with Rand Paul. Trump has executive business experience. Rand Paul's only got legislative. Get him in as VP, give him that 4 years of executive experience under an administration that can't possibly be anywhere near as bad. Even if Trump threw it, Trump could try to be a bad president and be better than Joe Biden. Things heal. The job market really comes back. Labor force participation applies. Inflation, by then, it's got to have dropped. It's not going to stay that high for that long. Trump can probably solve many of the diplomatic problems we have, certainly the border issue. Give Rand Paul then the torch and let him get his terms in. You'll have 3 consecutive Republican terms. Trump would finish out his, Rand gets the 2 of his. Then DeSantis, who is still very young, he can run later if he wants to. He's got the executive experience, but it would be more valuable for him to continue on as governor. And I think he enjoys it. I don't think that he necessarily, he might reluctantly run if no one else shows up and Trump decides not to. But it's going to be a feeding frenzy on the GOP side if, in the absence of Trump with the technical incumbency, the Republicans will destroy one another practically during the primaries. Trump would be well advised, even for partisan reasons, to run. Otherwise, there'll be a dozen Republicans gunning for the Biden admin because it's so weak. And they know there's an outsized chance that they win. This happened in 2016 among the Dems. They just happened to be wrong at the time. They underestimated Donald Trump a little bit. Fern Doggy Dog, thoughts on the credible threat against Tim Pool? He's faced what now? 7 or 8 swattings? Certainly, I know he says the FBI is involved. He needs to maybe hire some private investigators or something at that point. Tap the fucking phone lines. Totenbloom, 1,000 new clankers to celebrate Ishtar. Happy Easter. Yes, make more pagans. Night 36, thoughts on the Scandinavian ghost folklore, the Utgard. I have not read that. But I'll have to look into it because I like that shit. A crafty Huragok, what do you think about Germany and Japan remilitarizing and Norway and Sweden joining NATO? I thought it was Sweden, Finland, actually, considering joining NATO. I might be wrong. Anyone can join NATO if they want. They get accepted. Why not? It's not a generally offensive alliance. So I don't take up the Eastern Bloc propaganda concept that NATO bad. Oh my God, it's expansionistic and imperialistic. The fuck is Russia doing right now? It's the same fucking thing. It's like that scene in Dr. Strangelove. And if you haven't watched the movie, watch Dr. Strangelove, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. One of the best movies ever. Kubrick's best, by the way. I may be biased. I like that Cold War kind of satire thing. Watch it. There's one scene, spoiler alert, so mute me for the next minute if you don't want a spoiler. There's one scene in which the Russian premier has been summoned because, there's a nuclear standoff going on. He's come in and he's asked what he wants to eat, and he says poached eggs, I think it was, and a Cuban cigar. And one of the staff there, I think a waiter or agent of some sort, says, "Hey, try one of these, I think it's Costa Rican cigars. They're pretty good." And he's like, no, I don't. What was it that he said exactly? I don't endorse the work of capitalistic stooges. And he walks away. The other dude's like, oh, only commie stooges, right? It's the same fucking shit. Russians doing the same fucking shit as the United States has been doing. And there are people who will say, well, Russia's got less military capability, so it's okay. Oh, it's on their border. Yeah, there are people that speak Russian in Ukraine. It's okay if they bomb people. It's okay if they stage their own land invasion style of Iraq. It's fucking horseshit. It's the same warmongering horseshit that we've been dealing with for decades. It's the same imperialism. Silver Kestrel. In my opinion, Trump's VP will either be Rand Paul or Cruz. I can't see anyone else with enough name or policy recognition. Well, Pence had no name recognition. Nobody knew who the fuck he was. I would say you could see a dark horse. I would encourage him to choose Rand. Rand right now only has legislative experience. He's got popularity. He's from a state that's not really in play per se, but Kentucky's not the most red state. It's not Wyoming or something. There is a balance there. Rand needs executive experience. Get him aboard as VP. Offer him the slot. Whoever is the runner-up to Rand will win the Senate race. So you don't have to worry about jettisoning the Senate. Give him the executive experience and then let him govern. He deserves his 2 terms. The one person in the Senate that I would support is Rand Paul. DeSantis is okay. I wouldn't support Cruz. If Trump chooses Cruz, it'll be Pence 2.0. It would be a mistake. I warned about it at the time. Was I not right? There were people who criticized me, like Trump fans who are like, oh my God, you're off the Trump train because he chose Pence. How fickle can you be? Who was right? Fucker, who was wrong? I think that once again, the Clankers won that day. Gloria Maria Sese, happy Fertility Day. It's also my birthday. Well, happy birthday. On this particular year, the moon was in your favor, and it happens to be as well a holiday. Now you can eat hard-boiled eggs that are various different colors. I can make hard-boiled eggs later, come to think of it. I got a little bit of time today. I've been doing the live stream, so better it could be. The Grizzly, why can't the Democrats seem to get away from dollars? It's like some sort of twisted drug addiction for them. No matter how bad it is, use more. Yeah, and again, the leftoids are encouraging them to spend even more money right now. You got to love it. Because, I mean, it's beyond the pale. It's so far out there. The fact that they're entertaining the pipe dreams of AOC, Bernie Sanders and stuff after spending decades whining and dining leftoids, and then they leave them high and dry once they're elected. That was the right thing to do. Nobody else wants leftoidism. The independent voters are heavily against it. It's probably 80-20 at this point. You're crazy for allowing even these people to speak. Pelosi, one of the few things she's done as House Speaker that made any sense was muzzling AOC and telling her to shut the fuck up. Yes, you should kick him out of the party, make him run independent. So you have some independent leftoid mavericks. They'll dry up and shrink away in due time. Let a third party, let them join the Green Party or something so they can collapse their own support. Go back to having some degree of common sense, like the Democrats had maybe 40 fucking years ago. By the way, yes, indeed, to Rumble there, Z-Bong is correct. I will not tell the name of my daughter. Nobody needs to know anything about her. You might get, a little video or something, show her off because she's cute and stuff. But I don't want her to live on the internet. For my youth, I was non-internet connected. Of course, I was born in '88, so you didn't have public internet anyway then. We didn't have a gaming system in the house. We had an old school TV and a radio. And it was great. It's wonderful. Without all the electronic distractions, you get more exercise. You build more interpersonal, like social interactions, not just with parents, but with peers of similar age. That's the right thing to do. For the first 5 or 6 years of a kid's life, like maybe, okay, they understand how to use a phone to take pictures or something. That's basically all that's needed. They should not be on the internet. I see there are people that have their like a 10-year-old kid has a whole fucking YouTube show. It's like they don't understand. It's like the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen sort of thing. They don't understand the ramifications of that. They cannot consent to being a public persona. Even if they're well-liked, like, okay, they're cute, they're talented and stuff. Nobody's harassing them. Nobody's stalking them. There's nothing, really untoward. Even then, though, don't you think maybe you get some burnout? You never had a childhood. I want my child to have a childhood. I want a second childhood for myself. I want to march around in the woods, playing in mud puddles and seeing frogs and newts and birds and playing with rocks and damming up little rivers and planting flowers and stuff like that. That's the way to have a childhood. Lots of good food, lots of good physical activity, hikes, and all of these other things. And I think we're robbing our children of some of these things. It's sad. There's some parents out there. Point out some hypocrisy here. Just let me rant for a minute. I got to do this. There are people out there. They have kids, right? They'll say, hell no, my kid doesn't need to be taught this in school. Hell no, my kid shouldn't wear a mask to go to the mall or something. And yet they stick their kid in front of a computer for 2 hours. How goddamn hypocritical and fucking retarded can you be? You're doing the same damage to your child. You're doing just as badly as the state. Think about it. You're as bad as the government. That should really wake up, dudes. Some of you out there have kids. Put them outside. Get them off the phones and the computers and shit. I could use a little bit more time away from the screen too myself. I want to go on hikes. I want to go up a mountain. I want to spend all day sitting there next to a waterfall, eat some sandwiches, sing a couple songs, play around in the rocks, and see all the weird things that are growing under them. You know, that's the way to have a childhood. Jody Irvin, congratulations, Liz and Styx on baby Tarla. Yeah, no, we did not name it Tarla. There's one name down that people know is not the actual name, but no, we're not giving out personal details or anything like that. Jilu Boy, yes, on Twitch. Once you're big, you want to get bigger. Yes, it's like an addiction. As a content creator, I can say this absolutely. You get hundreds of thousands of subscribers and millions of people are watching you. Yes, you want to grow. And a little kid doesn't, I mean, how is that different from putting them in a work farm or something? Oh, I produced 3 sweaters today. Tomorrow, maybe I'll produce 4. It's no different. It's more lucrative. There's the illusion of that independence, but they're a little kid. They don't have that full mental independence. They can't make that choice for themselves. They have to be sheltered from some parts of the world. They're allowed to have a little bit of a childhood. Let them daydream and think of fairies and tea parties and kitty and stuff like that. Take a nap. Sit in the sun, make a nice garden. One thing I definitely want to do with my child very early on, involve them in outdoor activities, nature, gardening, yard work even. It's fun. When you're that age, you find mowing fun. When you're my age, it's a chore. Oh my God, the sun's so hot. Fucking gotta gas the mower up again. I got to go back to the fucking garage. They're there with their little mower, and it's not actually mowing anything, but it's cute. And they're pushing it along. It's just the way to raise a kid. Jose Alba, congrats, Styx. Thank you very much. Mr. Wonderful, I agree with your choice of Paul as VP, but it is possible the female VP will be a thing now going forward with everyone. Trump MTG, perhaps. You do worse, although I don't think that she has the temperament for a VP slot. She's more, here's the one thing about Trump. Trump is very forward. He wants to be in the limelight. He fucking loves it. He absorbs it like sunlight. He's solar powered. MTG is similar. She wants to be sort of out there. She doesn't shy away from a fight, a debate, etc. She wants to talk to the wonks and tell them to fuck off. I don't think she has the temperament to be Trump's VP. Rand can be fiery, but ultimately he's more procedural. He's sort of like if Mitch McConnell were a good guy and weren't goddamn geriatric. That's Rand Paul. Just pure legislative. Get him some executive experience. He'll be one of the most powerful forces in modern politics. If Rand Paul is chosen as VP for a Trump second term, or let's say DeSantis runs, he decides that Rand Paul is his VP, he will be a 2-term president. That is a guarantee. He has exactly the right qualifications at exactly the right time. Get him in there. I wish a Trump staffer would DM me and say, oh, well, you want to talk to Trump for 10 minutes? Hell yeah, I would. Choose Rand Paul. I just say that over and over for 10 minutes and at the end say, hey, can I have your autograph or something? Old Ahab. I just had a kid 3 weeks ago and I completely agree. Nobody's allowed to post his picture online. Yeah, I don't understand it. There are people. Okay, there's one group of people I can understand. If you're already really in the limelight, you're a billionaire, you're a politician or something, your kid's going to be photographed by paparazzi. Okay, do some cute kid pictures. It's personable. It's cute. They're going to be in the limelight anyway. There's nothing, you can't avoid it. I'm a content creator on the internet. I'm well known, but I'm not super famous. I have the leisure to be able to do my job and keep it separate from my family life. Family life doesn't need to be involved in that. It's a job. I like it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love writing books. I love editing books. I love doing what I'm doing right now in streaming, making YouTube videos, making BitChute exclusives, doing all of this stuff is my lifeblood. I wouldn't trade it for any other job in the world. But my daughter hasn't chosen a job yet. She just got born. She's not even old enough to buy an energy drink. She doesn't need to be involved with that. If you're a family channel, you can make an argument like, hey, here's our channel. Here's our daily outing with the kids. Instead of actually interacting with them, I'm spending the whole time recording and editing. I find that a little bit weird. But you got a family channel. You just had a kid. Okay, you're probably not going to get weirdos on there because they know dad's running the account or something. But this is not a family channel. I say fuck. I call people cunts and retards. Yeah, that's not exactly what a little kid needs to be involved with. Byron8899. Thoughts on Biden admin to lift ban on E15 gas, more ethanol by summer to lower gas prices. I'm guessing they're trying to make people buy EV cars. Yes, it is interesting. That would be considered a drastic step, and it's very interesting as well because where are all of the environmentalist leftoids to criticize him for subsidizing gas? Where are they? Nothing to be said. Total goddamn hypocrites. Mad Matt's 1. I bet Varg's kids are happy. Yeah, but I mean, he's transferred more into a kind of family channel thing. He's got like, what, 7 kids now. And they do cute stuff with regards to, survivalism, gardening and stuff. I would be fine having my kid in a video about gardening. Or, hey, here, today we're learning about how to make a cooling pot. We're making a lean-to or something. That's fine, but they've got to be older. I mean, there are some people, they're like, hey, here, our child was just born today. Let me show you pictures of the kid and the birth, too. We'll put up a birth video, and it's, I don't know. It's just like, it's attention-seeking on a level that I'm uncomfortable with. And I like my own content creation. I want to do my own thing. EpicMan004. Happy Easter, Styx. Would you invite Scott Adams to your midterm election live stream? Would like to see his live analysis. Yes, absolutely. However, he'll probably do his own live stream. Same with Lionel. I'd like to have him aboard. I like the dude. Talk to him. But he does his own thing, actually tied partly to RT, ironically. More talent than Caleb Malpin. I'll say that. I should get one of the bread tubers on. Since their audiences are drying up because they're becoming irrelevant at an advanced pace. Maybe I should get one of them aboard. They're desperate for the attention. K98 Killer, definitely look into Headless Right when you get a chance. Its origins are apparently Neolithic, truly ancient way to commune with the cosmos. Interesting. The Grizzly, finally, do you think if the Republicans get in control in 24, do you think they can put an end to all the internet censorship that's so rampant and out of control? No, they will not end internet censorship. What they could do is uncouple government and private industry and let new tech flourish, number one. It's one part of it. Number two, stop at least at the political level incentivizing the censorship. Right now, you have members of Congress like Amy Klobuchar openly harassing the tech billionaires. They're already self-censoring as much as they can. They're getting harassed by members of Congress to do even more, to the point where it's so far beyond the pale that they have to tell Congress, no, say, I like you. I donated millions of dollars to you, but what the fuck do you want me to do? You're telling me to ban half my user base. Makes no sense. Woody Red, BitChute exclusives. There's an emoji there. Yes, I make exclusives on new tech every single day. JB Sweeney, Clank, go to church. Yes, but which day should you go to church? If Easter celebrates the resurrection, why is it on a different day every year? Jan G, Macron seems to be creating an official Me Too allegation smear list. No conviction needed as a last-ditch election maneuver. Thoughts? Congrats for the little one. A wheel and a stick was all I needed. I saw something about that, but I didn't really keep up with the news. So I'm not 100% sure, but I wouldn't put it past him. Macron thinks he's fucking Jupiter. He thinks he's Napoleon Bonaparte. He's definitely the right height for it. Other than that, I think in every other measure, he falls short of Napoleon. Get it? Short. Make some memes, dude. Lev Polyakov, happy Easter. I haven't started planting the garden yet. Is it too late in the East Coast? No. Can't remember exactly which state. For hot weather crops, probably it's not early enough to, late enough to put them out. So just get seedlings. For cool weather crops, I would plant them now. Certainly in Vermont, I think I already would have planted like collards, broccoli, lettuce, and stuff like that. Make the cool weather garden. Gardening's cool. I can't wait to do more of that in the future, because when you have a kid, they're like, they're constantly interested in flowers and bugs and stuff. Maybe afraid of bugs. I know my niece will run away if she sees a ladybug, but flowers and stuff like that is always interesting. I loved gardens and plants and stuff when I was little. I was sad. I had to wait till I was already like 15 to have my own garden, because, we were in an apartment in Woodstock. We didn't have any land. I was like doing a little bit of part-time gardening in Rutland with my grandfather, actually, who the house we live at now there, he owned it prior and wrote my mom in, on the deed. And he did a lot of gardening, and he helped me set up my first garden bed. I owe him effectively the ability to grow all of my salsa and pizza ingredients. I make my own sauce, by the way. I may not be Italian, but I'm competent. So don't buy that fucking ragu and stuff. You're eating chemicals. It's so easy to make too. Just blend up the tomatoes. You put in sugar or carrot juice. That's fine. Deacidify it. Whatever herbs you want. Mix it in with whatever else you want. It's self-explanatory. It doesn't even take long. Oh, and it's so much better. And you make pizza sauce. And Elon Musk, this Twitter bid was inspired by my hero, Styx. By the way, no more super chats, please, because I probably will end it a little bit early, because I do have more cleaning, actually, that I have to do. I'm on a little bit of a tight schedule today, but I did want to do a Sunday live stream. Beefy King, money for good content. Also, Thundercats are awesome. That was a good show. A crafty Hiragok, what is worse than the government or true freedom coming from a libertarian perspective? Do you mean for true freedom? Well, the government is legally capable of legalizing its own abuse. That's a problem. I would say corporate power has become a bigger problem, because the government is at least constrained in most countries by some degree of constitutional law. Corporations can pretend it's all privatized. Oh, no. Yeah, the government told us to censor you, but we're a private company. We can do whatever we want. I would say that's worse. It's a workaround. Draven Oklast, have you heard of the Hermetically? And if so, what are your thoughts? Also surprised but happy you advertised orthodoxy. Been interested in it lately. I just think the Orthodox are less hypocritical and understand a little bit more generally about the history of their own religion, especially since they're absorbing so many people who are hyper-religious from Protestant Catholic paths that are looking for maybe more authentic kind of religion. These people are the ones that are motivated to crack open a book, as opposed to just saying, I believe in Jesus, I do whatever my priest says. And by the way, Styx, you're cringe, lay tip fedora, because you understand lunar movements. I find that so funny. I'm getting lectured on. I'm sitting here. I've almost edited 400 works just on religious topics. And I'm getting lectured by people who probably have an inch of dust on their Bibles. I find that funny. As far as Hermeticism, which I think you're referring to, yes, I've heard of Hermeticism. Edited some works on the topic. Silver Kestrel, thoughts on birthright citizenship? I'm in favor of abolishing it. It'll end at least one of the incentives for illegals. I think it depends on the situation, but this is a YouTube stream, so I won't elaborate any further. I think culture matters. I think similarities and differences between people are of potential civic mattering. Apparently, in the Democratic Party, I'd be the only one to believe that. Grant Newland, greetings from Kentucky, Rand for the win. Absolutely. SDW315 on Twitch. Yeah, abandon Reddit and Twitter. Complete cesspools. I've never really used Reddit because it sucks dick. I don't understand why so many people use it, because it's such a goddamn mess. Twitter, I have not abandoned. And if Elon Musk acquires it, it might get a lot better. So it might be the place to be. It'd be funny. Twitter experiences a renaissance, becomes the mainline tech site of this decade or something. Did you ever think that that was coming? I didn't see that one coming. That was not a prediction that I made. I see all sorts of garden references over on Rumble. Lisa Frequency, I have all my root veggies and cabbage family growing right now. I would be having normally, of course, we just had a child, so this is not tonight's venue. Normally on Easter, we have a boiled dinner. It's kind of Irish style, actually, with cabbage and ham and all these things. So I'll have to take a rain check on that and do that, I don't know, maybe in a month or something. But boiled dinner in May. Do it for May Day or something like that. Delicious. I don't understand why people don't like green vegetables. Collards and cabbage and asparagus. I've never met a vegetable, I think, that I didn't like. Only a couple of fruits. Not a fan of persimmons. Or guava, actually. I think it has a weird... Try guava juice. Jesus. And it's half seeds anyway. Why do people even fucking grow in it? But anyway, I'm going to go off now. I've had a good stream here. And by the way, Hugh, man, no, greens do not need salt. They need butter more than anything else. Pinch of salt brings out the flavor, but it's genetic. About 50% of the population has a gene for tasting the bitterness in green vegetables. They tend to like them less. I don't have that gene. To me, they taste just vegetable-y and sweet. One of the best is Brussels sprouts. I was the weird kid. I actually ate mine. So I'm going to go off here. And Ken rides with the last comment on Rumble. Diatomaceous earth, yes. Get diatomaceous earth and also azomite. Great garden supplements. You must have them. So I'm going to go off here and do some cleaning. And oh, by the way, we got to 5 Biden loser units and actually technically 6 because there's almost 400 people watching on Rumble. So yeah, and then it's a Sunday on Easter, no less. People are busy eating chocolate eggs and hopefully making more little clankers. So go to bed and have some fun. That's about all. Peace out.